I'm really recommending for young PhD students and even university students that they should already start networking, because nobody really taught me what networking really is. Networking is a really active process, and you should be mindful who you are connecting with, what is your purpose.
How do you approach that? If there's someone that you see posting or you admire, how do you connect with them?
When you express general curiosity that the person's post just inspired you for something, or just you have some questions popping inside your mind.
Kia ora everyone, and welcome to LabMates Beyond the Bench. This is a podcast that's sharing the stories of how scientists move themselves and their research beyond the lab bench into the real world. And today I'm joined by Rebeka. She's a neuroscientist and translational strategy expert, and I'll let her introduce herself and where she's currently working. So take it away.
Yeah, welcome everyone, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity, Maddie. So thanks again for inviting. I'm Rebeka Fekete. If you translation it to English, it's black. So it's my name is very common. So I'm by training a neuroscientist. I got my PhD 5 years ago, and in the last 5 years, I've been working as a postdoc in academic environments.
Mm-hmm.
And my main focus was, and currently still is, on COVID and long COVID research. But after finishing up this project, I got a huge publication, came out a few months ago. I've been starting to ask myself questions that what now? I mean, do I want to go just do another project and second postdoc with a second lab wherever in the world, basically doing the same principles and fighting for grant money and such, and my most honest inner answer was no, I really don't want to do that anymore, because it's just, I mean, I felt just burned out, and I even just got myself some extra teaching that maybe it just refreshes my energy levels or motivation, but not really. So the first I've been doing, so after being very depressed and said that, okay, what should I know with all this knowledge? I've been just cooling. I started first looking towards pharma roles, so biotech roles to apply, and what I'm experiencing right now is the job market is really, really tough.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme almost everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Every country.
and actually I've been expanding my research not just for Hungary, but the whole Europe and the US, and this is just the same. I'm even paid for a very expensive coaching program that where CEOs learn how to write very good CVs, how to do follow-ups and such, and basically this job searching and application, it's basically your second job, because it takes each day 5-6 hours just being present on LinkedIn, networking, doing applications, hunting down all the talent recruiters that, hello, I just sent you my application, and did you receive it? And so it's just madness. And during all these weeks and months while I was doing this, another second idea started forming inside of me, that why not do something else with all this neuroscience and all this scientific knowledge to give back something for the people. And actually, this is when it's really fresh, but I just created a brand, my own brand. It's a Clear
like a
Conscious
personal brand.
Mind. Yeah, it's called a Clear Conscious Mind, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to concentrate my post for LinkedIn, and I just started a newsletter on Substack a couple of
Awesome.
days ago, actually.
I'll have to go
And
check it out.
yeah, and I'm planning to share more educational and awareness raising content for long COVID and neurodegeneration, because it's not just the current issue, it's an all-timer, because
Mm-hmm.
more and more people are suffering and just left out from healthcare. And I'm actually in a discussion with some US scientists and more scientists in Hungary, that we should raise awareness to these problems, because it's just worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. So your background as a neuroscientist, I saw in your LinkedIn that you've done a little bit of autoimmune diseases, Alzheimer's, as well
Yes.
as the long COVID side of things. So what did you start your research for your PhD? Was that before the pandemic or was that during that very
No,
early?
actually, during my PhD research, I was already focusing on neuroviral
Wow.
phenomenons, and I was studying the herpes simplex virus
Yeah.
and different manifestations and neuroimmunological processes, and my main focus was on microglia,
Yeah.
because that's another other thing for our lab and for me as well, that in the neuroscience world, it's a kind of a dogmatic thinking that it's all neuron centered, that
Mm-hmm.
everything just neuron based,
Mm-hmm.
every processes were just neuronal. But no, in the last 5 to 10 years, we were working really hard to just change this thinking, that other glial cells like astrocytes and microglia were
Mm-hmm.
crucial. And more big papers and research are coming out that in serious diseases like Alzheimer's, multiple
Mm.
sclerosis, and viral infections concerning the brain and central nervous system, glial cells are just the key,
Mm.
processing these mechanisms, or even adding to the seriousness of neurodegeneration. So it's very important to acknowledge this fact that this isn't about all just neurons.
Yeah, I that's quite a cool crossover because I studied multiple sclerosis for my PhD actually. So microglia, like the little macrophages of the brain
Yes.
and how they get polarized and activated during autoimmune diseases has been something that I've spent a lot of my presentations during my PhD and actually my postdoc. I did a little bit of work still in that space because I feel like once you leave your PhD, you never completely forget your
Yeah.
roots
Actually,
and your
you don't leave science. You just can't leave behind the scientific thinking, what you have learned. You
yeah.
just need to translate it to be
Exactly.
more effective.
Yeah, to kind of understand. And then I also saw, so that was your main focus for your PhD, but then you've also done some things in the more diagnostic space as well. And how have you
Yeah.
taken what you've done in the lab to something, to working with companies and working with those multidisciplinary groups? Like, how has that worked for you and what did you learn from that process?
Actually, in the last couple of years, we started another project with case studies with people with long COVID and
Hmm.
post-COVID. And it was really special for me because I wasn't just a researcher, I was a patient as well, because I experienced pretty serious post-COVID symptoms for
Hmm.
months. And with my PI, we just started this project. It's a follow-up project, basically. We started with 33 people who got infected by COVID and were experiencing post-COVID symptoms. And I was dealing with all the logistics basically. So I contacted with clinicians, hospitals, companies to organize different clinical examinations like fMRI, blood tests, neurological examinations and stuff. So during these logistical works, I learned how to speak the clinical language
Yeah, it's different,
because
isn't it?
they are speaking completely different dimensions. So I've been in contact with neurologists and radiologists and pathologists, and it was really interesting to see the other side
Yeah.
and how I'm involved with a Hungarian startup company as well, who are dealing with targeted drug designs with machine learning modeling. And we have a really good collaboration that I create all these data from fresh frozen tissues, do multi-omics measurements, and in collaboration with them, with all those data, we teach new machine learning models to be able to do targeted drug and biomarker research.
Awesome. That sounds so exciting.
Yes, and it's a completely new world. They operate on a completely different time scale. So in these worlds, you have to be really quick and immediate and just make decisions quickly. And for an academic researcher, for me, it was really stressful the first time, because I just got used to that, okay, I'm going to decide what to do next, what experiments. But when you have a patient in front of you and it needs immediate reaction and action, and for a company as well, that, okay, you need to decide which project to prioritize right now. Because either the investors going to decide that, okay, I might invest in your idea or not. And if they decide otherwise, you can just close your business forever.
Yeah. It's
So
crazy, isn't it? When you're still in that academic mindset, it seems really, stressful is one way of putting it, or just really fast paced and very different priorities. It's not about the perfect experiment. It's about getting the results that you need for the next lot of money. And it's quite different when you're thinking academically and you're working with a startup. That's quite fun. Do you feel excited and energized by that now, or is it still a bit scary with your academic hat on?
I'm just in the very sensitive in between phase, but I'm really hopeful that with time all this will clear out what would be my main focus, because with this long COVID project, I still have some attachments to academia, but it's very, very low. But from time to time, I need to consult my PI and participate in some basic experiments and administrative stuff. And on the side, I'm doing all these collaborations with this startup, and their weakness is that they don't have a wet lab. So I'm currently using our wet lab and our tissue bank to just gain all this data. So I'm the bridge between academia and clinical studies. And it was a very awakening for me to realize that how important it is to make this bridge.
Yeah.
Because most times, but I realized that academia is mostly about basic research, and it's really important. It's essential, but it's not timely, not immediate. So I'm not satisfied with the projects where you start to investigate some basic cellular processes, and then from your research, probably 50 years later, a drug company just picks it up and that's really interesting stuff, and we should design some drugs for that. So it's too slow.
That's not for you.
No, not anymore, not anymore. And even during my PhD, I really needed that that connection towards people, towards patients. That's why I turned to a more clinical direction, because with all these infections and the COVID part, it really included me to what, how should I say, what real life is about. That all those people I've been collecting samples were actually in the ICU unit, and I have seen that the people were dying actually, and it was since I'm not trained as a doctor or a clinician, it was heart-wrenching to see that some of these people won't get out of the hospital.
Yeah. So I guess like that was your motivation for wanting to do something with your science that actually helped the clinicians move forward. Yeah. I get that. I'm very motivated in the same way. And now something's triggered in my brain where I find academia too slow and I get a bit frustrated about that. So yeah, I think I'm quite similar in that mindset. Did you have anyone who mentored this for you, or were you kind of doing these relationships and building all of this on your own?
Actually, it's a mix, and I have still mixed feelings about this, because, of course, during my PhD, I had two just PIs who just mentoring me, but it was, for me, it wasn't the mentorship I really needed, and I just realized that years later. So of course we were discussing what experiments should I be doing, how to analyze it, and so on and so on. But nobody really prepared me that what to expect after a PhD, after a postdoc. How should I make the most of my skills? So it's basically it was a self-discovery. And when I first started being present on LinkedIn, really present, I mean active, I started looking to people's accounts who were offering just some services that after academia, or just helping out people moving or shifting forward to something else from academia. And I've made really valuable connections through these, and they helped me a lot. But directions, what options I really have, because nobody really told me this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not until you step out. And LinkedIn is great for that. I think there's such a community of people who are posting about their science communication careers or translational research, or people who are offering services, but it's where LinkedIn is, and you can see their content and you can start to get to know the people before you commit to buying something from those people, right? And I mean, I wouldn't say you necessarily have to, you just have to spend time on LinkedIn to kind of understand how other people are moving forward in their careers to figure out what you might want to do. And I don't know about you, but I waited until after my PhD. Actually, I did a postdoc as well to kind of figure it all out. And I just figured that I would figure it out on my own, or that I wasn't proactive enough. And then it's kind of same as you. I started posting on LinkedIn maybe like 2 years ago now. So this is after I moved back from Scotland and back to New Zealand, and just slowly started finding my tribe of people who kind of come in. And, and they're the people that you see on your news feed, and they're really uplifting, and they're doing really cool things, and they reach out or they comment on something you've posted. And it's just that.
And most importantly, the feeling that you are not alone, that many other people are in the same boat with you, and they are just dealing with the same difficult emotions, the uncertainty. They're just figuring out what to do, where to go. So it was really a relief for me that, okay, I'm not the only one. I shouldn't feel so lost, because there were people who I could DM anytime and ask for help and guidance. So it's just really useful. that actually LinkedIn just pulled me out of my severe depression and hopelessness. And since then, I'm really recommending for young PhD students and even university students that they should already start networking, because nobody really taught me what networking really is. It's not collecting people to just connect, and basically you have thousands of people, but you have no real connections.
Yeah.
And you haven't talked to them. So networking is a really active process, and you should be mindful who you are connecting with, what is your purpose. And just, yeah, you should really be mindful of that.
How do you approach that? If there's someone that you see posting or you admire, how do you connect with them? I think sometimes when you've already got a personal brand behind you, it's easy just to send a connection to someone and not even write anything, and they'll usually accept. But if you're a scared PhD student, like, how would you maybe approach it? What would be the advice you would give?
Actually, when I'm scrolling on LinkedIn, I'm mindful of the content as well, what I'm really interested in. When I feel the connection, what pulls me, I just first I was really shy that okay, what was this person think about me, or would he or she read my message? I'm a nobody here. So no, just forget that. This is all the wrong kind of training. Academia just try to teach you. No, it's when you express general curiosity that the person's post just inspired you for something, or just you have some questions popping inside your mind, and you really want to ask that question. I think every person who is more experienced will appreciate that. Because what I have seen and experienced in these words, that people tend to just be more lazy to think about things, to really read behind the lines, and it's actually it's really saddens me to see that. But with all this AI stuff, people just, become more and more lazy. And actually, these new research are coming out that researchers are comparing people's brains without using ChatGPT and with using, and it's freaking awful that how people are just so lazy and just forgetting using their brain, really. And okay, I won't lie, I use AI, but in a limited basis. I use it for more like a brainstorming assistant.
Yeah, me too.
But I write all my content from my own head. These are all my thoughts.
You've got
And
very beautiful posts, by the way. Like, I
thank
always read
you.
it and I'm like, this is such a well thought out story. And I've learned something
And
about Alzheimer's, or amazing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I really put the time and effort and research. I read papers, I consult with colleagues and other people's what's the most hot topic stuff. And when I got inspired by someone else's post, I mentioned that post that, okay, this post was the inspiration to create my own. So this way it's an honoring the original poster that, okay, this was a thoughtful post and content.
Yeah, I like when people do that. I think it's very nice that because no one's ideas are they're random popped into your head usually. There's usually some inspiration, and recognizing and being mindful of that and paying it forward is a really nice way to be able to talk about someone else's work and give your own perspective as well. So I like that too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you have any other suggestions for anyone who's currently on their job hunt worldwide? Because it is a bit of a tough market.
It's really tough. So for youngsters, just really be persuasive. So approach in this changing world, you don't even have to connect with the EHR people because they won't have a clue about any specific questions you will ask about scientifically. So what you should do is to approach talent recruiters.
Yeah.
And there are always internships. So for young PhD students or even university students who are just before graduation, I warmly suggest that you should look for internship opportunities because big companies like Novartis, Roche, or Sanofi are always putting out internships and fellowships. And these projects last 6 months to 1 year. So that period, you are able to figure out whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And you still have some experience at the company. And if you decide that, okay, I like it, you have more opportunities and doors are opening inside that company. And you can move just forward if that's your way. But other than that, what I was doing that I collected 5 or 6 roles. I was imagining that, okay, it should fit. I like to do that part of my scientific work. And it took me a really deep inner research that what do I really like about research or being a researcher? What parts? Because it really important thing and should decide the path you are stepping in. If you are pulled into more manual work and research, you should uncover R&D roles or if you're more experienced like I am, I'm looking for principal scientist or senior scientist roles because I still love to do research. Or if you like more negotiating or creating collaborations, is some medical affairs is suggested. Or even medical writing, if you like to write or create scientific texts and protocols, just try out medical writing.
Absolutely. I think giving things a go, even if you're still studying, is a good opportunity. There, finding things that you can start or people that can even give you a little taste of what it's like, or going to the conferences or talking to those people, because I've had students who thought they didn't like something and I've kind of pushed them in a direction and then they've gone, oh, I didn't realize it would be like that. And, this is my favorite thing to do. And I'm like, well, there you go. You've learned something about yourself. So I think quite often we don't get that opportunity unless we find it during our PhDs.
Actually, during a PhD, there are still opportunities you should take. At least I can say just what I've experienced in the Hungarian system, that I applied for small scholarships and fellowships to go to another international lab. I've been working in Germany and France. And it was a really great opportunity to try myself out in a more international environment. But I was still working the same hours, same everything, but it just recharged me that, okay, the environment was completely different, the mindset of the people.
Different.
And I think it's a great change to even change your country and to see different cultures, different mindsets. And the other option I would recommend is to go to networking events.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme.
Yeah, networking events. Sadly, here it's not so common. But I actually will go in October to one networking event to Basel. There are hubs. What I learned, there are hubs in Europe, and I think there's the same for the US. But in Europe, you can find really great networking events for students, PhDs, and young postdocs. And for these events, the organizers are inviting people from big companies, and especially in Basel from Roche, from Novartis. And these people are specifically here to speak about their work. That how is it to be a principal investigator working at Roche or Novartis? That you should get a more clear picture that what's it like to work at these companies. And I think it's really, really great.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. We don't kind of have the same thing in New Zealand, but there are a few opportunities. And I know what you mean. Those companies come just to tell you what it's like and just to inspire you and to look for talent.
Yeah.
In the undergrad or early postgrad opportunity, that's like what they're there to do. So I think those opportunities are really good as well if they are available. And if not, maybe look a bit further and see if you can go. Like obviously you're traveling for yours to see those people and to get that network, and that's still a worthwhile trip, right?
Yeah. Actually, I just calculated all the pros and cons, but it's still worth it to travel there, because actually Basel is a really big hub for all these biotech companies and pharmas. So
Yeah,
it's a really, really good opportunity. And the other thing is that if you are applying for big pharma roles, usually when a position is on LinkedIn openly, already, even if it was posted in the last 24 hours, there are overly more than 100 applicants. And to be the most successful is to approach the right people even before the job is posted. You have the most opportunity when you learn to approach the right people and just create your own opportunities, not run after them. Because all this job chasing, what is happening right now, it's just crazy, and you can burn out really quickly. That's what I did in the first months, that I was applying to 50, 60 jobs, and I got very, very minimal replies. And
that's crazy.
one part of the recruiters just sent back that, okay, I'm overqualified, or they just didn't want to pay that amount of money for my expertise. And yeah, they really do that when you are more experienced, you should have, or they hire a much younger, less experienced somebody for less money, and they train him or her, and it's just more cost effective.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how they got to that conclusion. It's just not very fair when you've obviously got such a great thing going on. You've got a lot of knowledge, and sometimes you'll even be willing to be paid less. You just can't get even the opportunity to be paid anything. And I think that's when it gets really frustrating. And I had the same thing when I was first looking for industry jobs when I was in Scotland. And it was, disheartening to get rejected from things when you've got such experience. I don't know. And it must be very hard at the moment. But I do think creating your own opportunities, talking in a way that the industry talk about your transferable skills and what you offer the company, and not talking about how great your research was necessarily. And it's, a very different mindset to come at a job hunt. And I think that's when you get a bit more successful in your applications. So, have you had anything like that where you felt like you got through a process and it was because you did something differently?
Yeah, actually, I'm still in the middle of two processes with the Roche and one with Novartis. And before I sent out my CV, I just started some conversations on LinkedIn with 2 or 3 scientists whose work was really inspiring for me. Even though they didn't post about their work, their posts were more philosophical or more just thought-provoking. So it wasn't so scientific. But when I checked all the LinkedIn portfolio and their scientific papers, I got really inspired what they've been doing. And first, just to make the connection more relatable. In my first DM, I referred to their recent posts. I've been reading what inspired me. And then I was started to ask about their work at the company, what they were doing. And of course, I researched the company. So I already knew what program they launched, what products they were releasing. So it was a really easy referral and a conversation starter. And then I shared them with what I've been doing all these years and so on and so on. And we turned to that opportunity that, okay, you should send me your CV or I may connect with your PI for extra reference and such. So basically we'll see how it goes. Or
but at least you've got past that first hurdle of just even getting your application in, right? Like the number of automatic replies that I must have had. Like that's disheartening. But I think coming in as a human on a private message, it's hard. Like you've done research, you've talked about how great they are, and because everyone likes to hear that side of it when you're messaging them. It's always a good place to start, is to look at what they've done and refer to it. But that's not cheap in terms of your time and energy.
No.
But at least you had control over, at least you felt like you're moving it forward and you had more control over that process than handing in a CV and clicking a button and being a faceless person on that CV. So I think what you're doing is very admirable, and it's probably, even lots of people won't respond to those things, but you will get some because people like hearing from other humans.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice thing to do.
And there's another painful learning curve for me the CV itself, because when you design an academic CV, it's long, it's 4 pages even. You are collecting all your papers and stuff.
It's all about you as well, right?
Yeah,
like it's like me.
And for a company, pharma company, or biotech company, talent recruiter, they just don't care where you published, how much impact factor or H index you have. No, they don't care. The only thing they care is what solution you can give to their company. Can you make their lives easier, better, faster? Can you be a more productive, effective workforce? And really, why should they hire you? Not just because, okay, I'm clever. I've been a researcher for 15 years and
because
I have
you'll have
a
hundreds of
science
those
paper.
people.
No. And if you there are certain roles where in the job applications I have read that, okay, you should include the 3 most important papers. Then I add the 3 most important papers. But otherwise, no, they just don't care. What
they
they
can find it out
care,
too. Like they can
yes,
find it out.
but they
wouldn't
won't.
care. No,
They
don't
won't.
care.
But what you can do is to promote your work more. You actually translate your academic research papers to pharma language. That's what I've been doing on my LinkedIn, that actually I have big papers, but they're exciting for other academics. But for pharma people, it's just too long and boring.
They don't care. Yeah.
But if you learn to translate the potential for them, that where should this research go? What are the advantages for drug research, for any kind of pharma stuff they are doing?
Yeah.
It's more intriguing for them. So instead of just posting everywhere your big papers, just try to make like a pitch for any entrepreneur, page or 2-page maximum pitch from your papers, and that's it. They will read it. They are getting interested and they will contact you.
That's amazing. That's so good. I bet your LinkedIn page is full of those examples as well of how you translated a paper into a really meaningful pitch.
Yeah, and I'm currently working on more, and I'm really excited to share this knowledge because it's really helpful. And most academics just have very valuable work, but it's only valued among the same people. But come on, you try to leave these people. So it's a completely different language. You have to learn a different language.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've been saying a lot lately as well. So that's interesting, is your papers only go to the people that talk like you, and they don't go to the people that help progress research beyond academia. So yeah, very similar in that mindset. All right, should we do one last? Is there anything else that you would like to help or inspire to other PhD students who are currently looking? Or would you like them to connect with you on LinkedIn, for example?
Yeah, actually, they can connect with me, and I know there are a lot of other people who are offering professional services. So I'm able to help until a certain point and level. This is some kind of help, or even, I don't know, positive message that you are not alone, you are not lost, and you are in a really great community. And even we can do more collaborations like that, or offer multiple services. Because as I see in academia, the opportunities are more restricted, like in the US, and it's more uncertain. So you just you have to have a plan B and C. So don't just and you have to start as early as possible, even in your first year of your PhD, because you might change your mind that, okay, this is not me, this is not my way. And what I'm raising awareness most, that find good mentors. Learn about what true mentorship is, actually, because most people don't even really know what mentorship is. Not the mentor itself, and not the student.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
they are just looking for help. But what the true mentor is doing, it's not leaving you alone and giving you these kind of advice that how should you write your CV? What's your options? Just
Yeah.
look around the world. Just don't get stuck in that
As
academic
someone who
system.
pushes you, I think that's a really good way
Yes.
to think about it. As someone
Yes.
who's there for you regardless of what you choose, but they're always helping you to see different directions. And I think that's always a sign that someone's a good mentor, is that they're not pushing you for something they think is good for you, but they're helping you to see the opportunities. I think that's a really, really cool way to think about it. And what I find really inspiring about the journey you've shared today is actually that you've not worked in a traditional academic sense for a couple of years. You've done a lot of collaboration with clinicians, multidisciplinary, but also working with a startup is very unique in terms of an academic path. And I think that's really inspiring, that other PhD students can come through and see that you can sort of still stick in the academic setting. Your wet lab could be an academic place, but you could do something that's really industry focused or startup focused, but while maintaining some of those metrics that are very academic, like publishing. And I think that's really unique, and a really unique journey that you seem to have carved out for yourself. And obviously that's not accidental. You've created that space for yourself by being you and building relationships with people, because that's also another thing that maybe academics don't spend time and energy on. And you've done that really well. So I think that was really cool to hear about that journey. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I really hope that for anybody who are just starting this journey, or even just thinking about alternative options, just really pull yourself together and be brave to make the first step. You don't have to see the whole path ahead of you, because neither I am. So
I
I
don't
don't
know.
really know that. Where I would be half a year later or 1 year later, I don't have an idea. But you should feel it.
Mm-hmm.
What is your true calling? What you can help? What you enjoy? And you don't have to be closed in a air conditioned by windowless lab in the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. That's such a good point. I like that, you don't have to have a big plan. You just know you want to be somewhere different in 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, you're moving towards something different. And I think that's a cool way to think about it. And it's like maybe not the academic way, but it's definitely a modern scientist kind of way. So I like that. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we can leave it there for today, but I'm almost curious to do another follow-up in 6 months and see where you're at.
I'm absolutely in, and there's a lot I haven't said intentionally because these ideas just forming inside my head. But I have some more things going on, but later in time on my Substack, I will definitely share.
Awesome. I so look forward to hearing about that. And share with me your Substack so I can share it with the post as well. And thank you so much, Rebeka, for talking today. It was amazing to hear about your journey in Hungary. It's so cool that we can connect from possibly literally the other side of the world, which is so fun. And yeah, there's a lot of similar challenges in the science system at the moment everywhere. So it's really great that there's some positivity and there's that community that's wrapped around us. And a lot of it is on LinkedIn at the moment. So that's really cool sharing that journey. So thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for tuning in today to hear about Rebeka's journey. She said so many great tips from how to connect mindfully on LinkedIn, find a mentor for your career, and how to present your research to non-academics. At LabMates, we are building the most collaborative research community, connecting scientists locally and globally. So jump in on our beta now and get connected.